Welcome to Bent TV. I'm Andy McNamara, and tonight I have the pleasure of speaking to Brenda Appleton. Welcome, Brenda.
Thanks, Andy. Delighted to be back.
Good. You are, and we have had Brenda on a few times before.
Yes.
Let's chat about your new government role, please. Educate us.
I was appointed, I guess, back in July to a new government body, which is the LGBTI Task Force. The appointment's by the government, state government of Victoria, and it is a whole of government appointment, and it covers the LGBTI community.
Can I jump in? I just want to get everyone on the same page. Let's explain LGBTI community.
So L as in lesbian, gay.
G as in gay, men probably
yes.
implied.
B as in bisexual, T as in trans and gender diverse people, and I in intersex.
Could you explain intersex?
So intersex people are people who are born with a difference of body. It's a biological difference, not related to their gender, and therefore it's quite a different aspect in terms of gender, and it often leads to ambiguity of their own sex.
So people who are not clearly identified as male or female at birth, would
yes.
that be correct to say?
Yes.
Some people would argue trans people are intersex, not visibly intersex, but are internally intersex in that they're born with some aspects of both genders.
And we think it's a very different thing between having ambiguity of gender and ambiguity of body.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, those of us that are born trans and gender diverse experience a different internal gender to the sex which we're assigned at birth. And whereas intersex people might change gender, but on the whole theirs is related to a physical difference rather than a feeling of gender.
Good. I'm going to take you even more off track. So the LGBTI community seems to be expanding. Bent TV, this group, our mission statement refers to diverse genders and sexualities because we want it to be as broad as possible. What are some of the other groups now turning up that have become part of this queer, bigger community?
Well, I think society's response to LGBTI people is improving, albeit too slowly, I think. And therefore, a lot more people are comfortable to be expressing themselves and being true to themselves. And therefore, most community groups are experiencing a growth in numbers and expectations. And I know within the trans and gender diverse community, Royal Children's Hospital that handles the young people, they used to get one referral a year. They're now getting more than 5 a week. And it's not because the number of gender questioning people has changed.
No.
It's very much a matter of more people feeling comfortable, more parents feeling comfortable that they can explore it. I know earlier this year we had Caitlyn Jenner come out. What was Bruce Jenner, now living as Caitlyn Jenner. There was an explosion of people for Royal Children's around that time, and it seemed to make it right for some people, whereas previously it hadn't been.
Why don't we jump now back to the main task today, the LGBTI Task Force, sponsored by the state Victorian government.
Yes,
Tell us about
so
it.
the task force consists of 4 community members and 4 members from within, or 3 bureaucrats, deputy secretaries of Justice, Health and the Department of Premier and Cabinet, plus the Minister for Equality, who is Martin Foley,
Right.
plus the 4 community members. And we have an ex officio member who is Ro Allen. Ro is the Commissioner for Victoria for Gender and Sexuality.
Which is a very new role recently.
Ro was appointed in June, commenced in July, and works out of the Department of Premier and Cabinet. And it's just fantastic that this government has, I guess, delivered on its promises to improve equality for LGBTI people. This whole of government task force is the first time we've had one in Victoria. Under the previous government, we had a ministerial advisory committee which just covered health,
Right.
whereas this task force can get involved in all areas of government.
So can you give us a very brief overview? What's the range of things that the LGBTI Task Force are currently involved in or look to be involved in the short-term future?
So the task force is underpinned by 2 working groups. One of those working groups is a health and wellbeing working group.
Right.
And it consists of 12 community members. It's chaired by Ruth McNamara, who is also on the task force. And one of the things being looked at under that working group at the moment is the mental health.
Oh, fantastic.
The government is working on a 10-year mental health strategy.
Wow.
And the task force and working group will look at it from an LGBTI perspective.
Terrific.
One of the items that the other working group is justice, and the justice working group have been working with the government in terms of same-sex adoption, and has been very much working with it in relation to birth certificate changes. The trans, gender diverse and intersex communities would like to see changes to the birth certificate regulations.
Yep.
And the advisory groups and community consultation taking place at the moment to add, I guess, some depth and understanding and verification that the planned changes will meet the needs of the community. Andy, there's one other group that we've set up under the task force as well. So we've got the Justice Working Group and the Health Working Group. One of our areas of concern relates to the schools. We still have a lot of bullying and discrimination in schools. So we've set up an education reference group as well.
Right.
And Ro Allen will chair that group, and that's designed to work with the Department of Education to see whether or not we can make some further changes in the curriculum and other areas to make schools safer for our young people.
Brenda, thanks for telling us about this task force. I hope we can have a bit more of a chat about it very soon. Thank you. You've been watching Bent TV. We'll see you again.